So what I'd like to first start to do here is introduce you to this project that started in a conversation in what you might call a charrette, or a public event, a public forum of about 65 people in 2009. And the original intent of that forum was to talk about the future of some buildings that were vacated at the Falmouth Shopping Center, particularly the Shaw's building, and the associated 20 or so acres of undeveloped land just to the north of that property. And during that process and some online surveys that the town conducted, some ideas evolved about, gee, the intersection with the Turnpike and the Route 1 location, is that an intersection that could be reconfigured to allow potentially even more development, especially in that 10 or 11 acre large, what some people call cloverleaf in the ramp system? Could you take the bridge down? Could you rebuild that intersection and make available private development? And so the town approached DOT with that, and they said, if you guys would like to take a look at that as a concept at a high level, feel free to do so. Let us know what you come up with. So the town did that over the course of the next couple of years, off and on, ultimately leading to a more serious conversation that started last fall. The town council met in executive session because there were contracts that had to be negotiated and parameters set. And from that point forward, staff has been working with DOT. I have been keeping the elected officials, the town council, notified here in Falmouth of the progress. And as of today, we are ready to now make this public. We have reached agreement on all of the details associated with the partnership and the next steps moving forward. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Commissioner Bernhardt. I'd like to make a few statements.
Thank you. Thank you. I got to tell you, I am truly excited to be here and to talk about this unique partnership with Falmouth and what it really could do for not only this community but for the region. It is partnerships such as these that are the way of the future when we talk about how good transportation planning and investment can go hand in hand with the community development, the quality of life, basically that transportation infrastructure that meets the needs of all the users, yet provides advantages to existing businesses and the possibility of economic opportunity for new businesses. I really got to thank Nathan for all the work that they've done in the town of Falmouth for this partnership, and my staff who has worked closely with their staff to make this happen today. Today, when you travel down Route 1 in Falmouth from the Martin Point Bridge, basically, to where we are today, you can see that the town truly had a vision. And not only did they have a vision, but they made it happen. They made it happen with funding and a lot of hard work. And I can tell you from the perspective of the department, we were just glad to be a part of it. But they've done a lot of the work. This opportunity we're talking about here today is very unique. I think it's one of a kind right now. But we're going to see much more partnerships across the state, these types of unique opportunities. But I see this partnership with Falmouth and the development community as providing not only improved safety for our customers, but it also creates a prime development site, which is what Nathan has spoken about, approximately 11 acres. We're talking 11 acres connected to Route 1, I-295, and the Maine Turnpike. You can't get much better than that. This makes good business sense on behalf of the taxpayers of Maine, and I just consider this a win-win for all. Now, the department, we have a mission in our strategic plan, and it's basically to responsibly provide the safest, most reliable transportation system possible, giving our available resources. And we also have 3 strategic goals. And the goals are very simple. It's manage our existing system, and we have this massive system across the state. It's to support economic opportunity, and it is to build trust. And I can tell you what's unique about this project, it hits them all. If you look at our system, it's going to be safe. We know it will be safe and reliable, or we're not going to let it happen. But it also, when you talk about meeting the available resources, for the town and us, this is revenue neutral. And that is so important. This stuff's going to happen, and we're going to be working with a developer to make this happen. But it also meets our 3 goals. You got support economic opportunity. It definitely does that. Manage the existing system. If you think about what we're talking about, is taking a interchange today that has loop ramps, a bridge, and have it at an at-grade intersection. So what's interesting is we're removing some of these loop ramps, and we're also removing a bridge. And I can tell you, with the Department of Transportation, we have 2,744 bridges that we have to maintain. I can tell you one less is one less that I have to worry about. So, and we're building the trust. That third one is so important, and that's why we put it in there, is because partnerships like this build trust. And we have worked very closely on the project on Route 1, the Falmouth-Martins Point Bridge, with the town of Falmouth. And I can tell you, because of that trust that we've built, we're able to do something like this. And also, there is future partnerships that we are working on. So again, I just want to thank you for having me here, Nathan, and the town of Falmouth. And this is truly, it's a great opportunity. It's unique. And I can't wait to see how it moves forward. Thank you.
Pleasure, Commissioner. We also have a few words that I'd like to have Teo Holtwick, the Director of Long Range Planning and Economic Development. He works for the town, has been with the town for almost 9 years, and he has been instrumental behind the scenes, on the front lines, all over the place, helping us put this together. And I'm sure many of you have questions about what are the next steps, what's going to happen next. And I will offer you the first next step is going to be this. All of this information will be posted on the Town Council's agenda that we posted later today on our website in anticipation of a public discussion on this next Monday evening. And at that meeting, the council will be speaking about it, introducing it to the public, and also announcing to the public that there will be a public hearing to gather public input on it later in January or early February. With that, I'd like to introduce Teo and let him describe to you some of the next steps in the process with this project. Teo?
Thank you, Nathan. As Nathan said, the council will be introduced to this project this coming Monday night. All our materials that you see here will be available on our website. And at that time, the public will not have a chance to offer input, but the following meeting we have scheduled for the public to offer comment and input in this proposal between the town and the Maine DOT. The council could decide as soon as January 25th to move forward with this effort. If that's the case, we plan to issue the draft request for proposals on January 26th. If the council needs another meeting, we will slide that further down. At that time, developers in Maine and beyond will be asked to consider this opportunity and become a partner in this proposal. We'll offer an opportunity on February 24th for developers to come to Falmouth and ask questions of the town or of the Maine DOT so that they have a full understanding of the scope of this effort. That meeting is not a requirement for developers to attend, but it's really an opportunity for them to ask questions. We hope that will lead to multiple proposals. Those proposals are due by the town on April 11th. At that time, the town council will review the proposals, will most likely do interviews with the developers, and at some point come with a recommendation for which developer it wishes to move forward with. The public will be invited to comment on that recommendation, and at some point the council will make a decision on moving forward with which particular developer. At that point, Maine DOT comes back into the picture because it becomes then an agreement between the Maine Department of Transportation and the developer. Since the town is not the owner of the land, it's the Maine DOT that owns the property. We expect that arrangements will be worked out between the Maine DOT and the developer over the summer, and that by probably fall of this year, there might be a development plan on the table that the developer has prepared, that the Maine DOT can review and sign off on, that the town can review, that the town in turn will accommodate that plan through its zoning land use regulations. This property currently is not subject to any land use regulations by the town of Falmouth because it's part of the highway network. We haven't given it any zoning designation, so we need to give it some sort of zoning designation at some point in this process. We expect that local approvals will happen in the winter of 2017 with possible groundbreaking in the spring of 2017. The project of a particular magnitude will most likely take a year and a half or more to construct, so it might see completion in the fall of 2018. That's the best as we know at this time. We're fully prepared to make some adjustment to this, but we hope to move through this in an expeditious, fair, transparent process and avail public opportunity at any point in the way.